Hey everyone, today I'm going to be comparing two Nikon Z lenses, the 24 to 70mm versus the 24 to 200mm. So right now I'm on my way to Stanage Edge in the Peak District. I've not been there for quite a long time, but it's a great spot. Some really high rocky kind of outcrops there, and yeah, it's just typical kind of Peak District landscape, so it's going to be great. It's a boiling hot evening, about as hot as it gets in the UK, but I'm not complaining. I'm hoping for a great evening. There's not a lot of cloud in the sky. Check the forecast, I don't think it's going to get much cloudier. I would have liked a little bit more cloud, but I'm hoping for some good colours in the sky. I've got the two lenses with me, so yeah, just going to get there and capture a good sunset, I hope. The reason I'm doing this is because I've got a trip booked soon and I need to pack quite lightly. So I'm testing out these two lenses to see which one I'm going to take with me basically. Do I take the 24 to 70mm with its superior optical quality and it's f4, so it's a bit faster, or do I take the 24 to 200mm, which is not quite as fast in the aperture department and it's not quite as good optically, however it does have the versatility by going all the way to 200mm. I've already got some shots of Millstones earlier on, and I'm not sure what they look like just yet. On the back of the camera they look okay, but what I'm doing is just testing the two different lenses out at similar focal lengths, and when I get back later I'm going to compare the images on the computer to see if there's any real difference. I just want to do a quick shout out to Dave LaFan of Let's Click Photography. He's a fellow YouTuber and he was here last week and he did a great video and he did quite a lot of explaining about why the Millstones are here and just some general knowledge of Stanage Edge. So yeah, I'll put a link to that video down below, go check that one out. Okay, it's a few days since I was at Stanage Edge now, and it was a really great evening, really warm, a great sunset, and I think because of the weather it was really busy as well, but I think I managed to get some decent shots. I've had a chance to go through them and edit some of them now, and it's also a really good test for the two lenses. I've got them here, so we've got the 24 to 70mm f4 lens, and we've also got the 24 to 200mm f4 to 6.3 lens. And as you can see, there's not a massive difference in size. 24 to 200mm is probably a couple of centimetres bigger. So in regards to size, I guess the 24 to 70mm wins there. But considering this goes to 200mm, I don't think a couple of centimetres is a massive compromise to make, really. But it's all about the image quality, really. So let's have a look on screen now at some of the shots I took. So the first thing to say is that with all the images that I'm comparing, I haven't made any tweaks to the sharpness or clarity, texture and things like that. I've only made changes to the tone and colour, basically. These two images were taken at 24mm, both f13 ISO 100. The one on the left is the 24 to 70mm and the one on the right is the 24 to 200mm. I don't know about you, but I can't tell any difference in regards to sharpness with these two images. They both look just as sharp as each other, which you might expect at f13. What I have noticed is that with the 24 to 200mm lens, with this particular image, because we're shooting directly into the sun, there is some ghosting and lens flare with the 24 to 200mm, and you don't really get that as much on the 24 to 70. There is a little bit with the 24 to 70mm, tiny little lens flare, but overall it's cooked much better with the direct sunlight. And you can't see it on this particular image, but earlier on when I took some shots of the Millstones, the 24 to 200mm also suffered from a little bit of fringing, so probably chromatic aberration, a little bit of purple fringing just around the edges. So that's something to bear in mind with the 24 to 200mm lens. These two shots were both taken at f13 again, ISO 100, but these two were at 50mm. So again, the one on the left is the 24 to 70, the one on the right is the 24 to 200. Again, I can't tell any difference in sharpness with these two images, and because we're not shooting directly into the sun, or because the sun's not in the shot here, we're not getting the issues with the lens flare and ghosting and things. So I would say that for this particular image, the 24 to 200mm definitely wins. You've got the benefits of going up to 200mm, and there's really no loss in quality compared to the 24 to 70 in my opinion. So when I was up at Stanage Edge, I was taking landscape shots. I was shooting between f11 and f16, quite typical for landscapes, just to give a larger depth of field and get everything in focus. But I wanted to test out the two lenses wide open. They both go down to f4 at 24mm, and these two shots were taken in my garden at 24mm. The one on the left is the 24 to 70mm, the one on the right is the 24 to 200. Like I said, both at f4, both ISO 80. And once again, I can't tell any difference in quality, even wide open like this. They both look just as sharp, the colours are just as good. So great all round really, from the 24 to 200, I'm really impressed. So zooming into 50mm, the 24 to 70mm on the left is at f4, the 24 to 200mm on the right is at f5.6. And that's because you can't go lower than f5.6 at 50mm. They're both ISO 80, and again, the colours are great. I presume the sharpness would be great on both of them. However, you can obviously see that the 24 to 200mm is out of focus. And I've purposefully left it out of focus because I wanted to highlight the fact that the minimum focusing distance on that lens is less than the 24 to 70. So for landscapes, that's not going to matter. But when you want to get close to a subject like this flower, the 24 to 70 is going to be much better there because, yeah, the 24 to 200 just can't focus on the flowers at this distance. So that's something to bear in mind with the 24 to 200. Okay, so there you go. I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the 24 to 200mm. It's not an S-line lens like the 24 to 70mm f4, but that just goes to show the standard and quality of the Nikon Z lenses, because it's almost as good. I'm sure people will be able to show you charts and things to say that the 24 to 70mm is superior optically, and I believe that it is. But to the naked eye, at least my naked eye, I can't tell the difference in the image quality that these two lenses produce. Certainly not in terms of sharpness anyway. Yeah, there's some issues with ghosting, lens flare with the 24 to 200mm, and a little bit of fringing, but that can generally be fixed in post-processing, so I'm not too worried about that. And with the extra versatility that it offers, going from 70 to 200mm, and not really taking up much more space in my bag, it seems like the obvious choice to take on my trip with me, so that's what I'm going for. I'm going to take that one. And the trip I'm going on is to Germany, all being well. Just got to get a negative COVID test and hopefully we'll be going there next week. I'm going to get a video and in a couple of weeks time hopefully be sharing that with you, so stay tuned for that one. And if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed yet, then please consider doing so. You can click on the big red button down there or on my face over here, and that way you'll keep up to date with everything I'm doing each and every week. And there's a new video every Sunday morning at 10 AM UK time. So I hope you'll catch me for the next one. But until then, that's it for this one. So thanks a lot everyone, and bye for now.